Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. My name is Guru Singh, and I want to do a little follow-up about this widely promoted lie that Yogi Bhajan's tantric kundalini yoga groups are putting out there and deceiving young, innocent yoga students with. This is the lie that Guru Ramdas Ji somehow sat on the throne of Patanjali's yoga, and that Guru Ramdas Ji taught tantric and kundalini yoga, and Guru Ramdas Ji held this as a secret, and it was only revealed to Yogi Bhajan. This is a complete delusional lie that Yogi Bhajan put out there. Now this group here, this Journey into the Heart of Sikh Dharma, you can see their logo here, and you can find them on Facebook, is teaching a telecourse. And I applied for this telecourse and actually sent them the money on my credit card. They immediately sent it back to me, the money, without explanation. I want to have an opportunity to be able to confront them and discuss this lie, rebut this lie that they're putting out there. Now, I saw here on their Facebook page that they made this comment, and I'll read here just part of it. I read in the last video all of it, but I'll just read part of it. Here's the comment here. You can stop the video and read it for yourself. And I'll also post it in the description. They say here, the teachings of Sikhi and yogic traditions are tightly intertwined. Also as written in the Shabad Raj Yog, Takatadian, Guru Ramdas Ji held the throne of yoga. This is a complete false statement and is misleading, to say the least. And at the worst case scenario, they're doing this maliciously just to attract people to get into their cult, making people think that Guru Ramdas Ji was somehow a tantric and kundalini yoga guru. This couldn't be farther from the truth. Yogi Bhajan just made this up. Let's face it. He was a customs officer and nothing more than a two-bit salesman. There's no history on Yogi Bhajan other than what he tells his students. He had anything to do with yoga mastery or yoga lineage. Yogi Bhajan went to a few ashrams in India. This Shivananda ashram, I think he went there. He picked up a few tits and tats about yoga. And then he put out this ridiculous story about Guru Ramdas Ji being his guru, and came to him in a dream and showed him this Kundalini Tantric Yoga. It's complete rubbish and a real insult, actually, to Sikhi. Now, I want to play for you this informal talk which Yogi Bhajan gave. And I want you to hear for yourself how Yogi Bhajan is stumped by a student and he can't explain this lineage of Kundalini Yoga. It's very revealing. Just listen closely to this.
Yes. In a lecture in Espanola, you mentioned that Guru Ramdas received the Raj Yog takt, and the last person, the person before him devoted, was Krishna.
No, before that, Raj Yog takt came to Guru Ramdas. It was given to him by Guru Ramdas, and Guru Nanak celebrated. Our Guru's family comes from the Raj Yog.
Could you give a brief history explaining what the institution is?
Jasbeer Kaur. It is how is it?
She couldn't figure out anything.
No, she will tell you if she has.
Do you hear that? The student asks a very good question, and he says, she can't figure out anything, this Jasbeer Kaur, who's evidently, at that time, this was in the early 1980s, was one of Yogi Bhajan's philosophical writers and researchers. So, there you have it. Yogi Bhajan is stumped by his students, but as typical of Yogi Bhajan, he just rolls over this good question by the student and just goes on to something else. Yogi Bhajan was just a big fake. He didn't know Gurbani. He did all of his prayers in, if he did them at all, in Urdu, and he didn't know Gurbani. So he mistranslated Gurbani, and whether he did it purposely or not, I'm not sure. We'll just leave that up to the historians. But the fact is that Yogi Bhajan did not know Gurbani.
The time, she knows all about it. First, takt Raj Yog was established by Raja Janak. And after that, the second man who celebrated the kingdom of it was Lord Krishna. In between, it carried on, and then finally when it appeared in the Kalyug, and that is the house of Guru Ramdas.
Does this embody all the yogic powers, skills?
Without this body of the yogic power and skill, man is just an ordinary animal. Lives in the pulsation of time and space. Without uniting with the divinity, I don't think there is anything else. Otherwise, some of the people who have left Rajyog or Sikh Dharma are those who used to read 5 banis, used to wear almost 2 pounds of more steel than an ordinary person. I have seen those people, some of them wearing totally blue. I have seen them getting Amar, taking a bath, even washing their hair. But the only thing they didn't do is, they didn't do kundalini yoga. And all of you who have left are suffering one way or the other. Because playing a tune on a guitar, which is not totally tuned, you are not going to get music. You know, it's a simple endure, a honest endure, and honest tool or technology to make ourselves who we want to be. That's why we emphasize on Kundalini Yoga, not that.
Yogi Bhajan actually insults Sikhs in that last little clip. And it really angered me when I listened to that. It's just completely insulting. I know for a fact Yogi Bhajan never wore a kirpan. He wore these huge gems, which is completely un-Sikh-like. And then he's insulting Sikhs, who he admits himself read 5 banis a day and wear the steel of Guru Gobind Singh Ji and try to live as Sikhs and live the proper Rahat. This really angers me. I was with Yogi Bhajan all this time, and we were always taught by Yogi Bhajan that, oh, you could just do the Kundalini Yoga and didn't have to worry about doing these, the 5 banis, the real Sikh Rahat. This is what we were taught, and this is what I was led to believe. Don't wear a kirpan. You don't have to wear a kirpan. I was even on security once, and I was inside the ashram there on Prus Road, and I had my dastar off, and Yogi Bhajan wanted to go someplace. It was late at night. I was sleeping there overnight. And he had me drive him up to his estate, and I wanted to put on my dastar. He said, leave it, and let's go. He was very, very undisciplined in many ways. And I'm ashamed to say it, that we were completely misled by him. And this is a very good talk that I invite everybody to look up on the internet, the Yogi Bhajan. It shows his true colors. He insults Sikhs in this. The widow of Bhaifauja Singh is completely insults her. It's just really appalling. He tells his students that they should just tell her that she's a bitch. I'm just ashamed to say it. It's just awful. Yogi Bhajan was a complete corrupt person in my mind. He lied to us. He lied to us about this lineage of kundalini tantric yoga being from the Sikh gurus who have nothing to do with tantric and kundalini yoga. Yogi Bhajan may have been charismatic, and maybe he was funny sometimes, and maybe to people he seemed like he would put people on, build up their egos. But I'm telling you, the truth is, Yogi Bhajan was just a slime, piece of I won't say it, but he was very, very bad. Just listen to this lecture. If you can listen to yourself. It's on the Yogi Bhajan teachings. I'll put a link to it there. The whole lecture is just appalling, what he says there. Not to mention, like I said, how this lineage of tantric kundalini yoga is completely made up by him in his false delusional thinking. So, what does other Sikh scholars say about Yogi Bhajan? Now, I mentioned this book before, I'm sure, Sikhism and Tantric Yoga. Other people have watched my videos. It was a real eye-opener for me. And I want to talk a little bit about it here. Dr. Shalochan Singh spent months with Yogi Bhajan in the late 1970s, like 77. And this was just before I got into 3HO and met Yogi Bhajan. Now, Dr. Shalochan Singh has a whole chapter about how Yogi Bhajan misrepresents this idea of Guru Ramdas being somehow connected with Patanjali's yoga. So Dr. Shalochan Singh says, and I'll read this chapter, it says, misinterpretation of the Sikh ideal of Raj Yoga, political and spiritual sovereignty. And he gives a very good explanation about how this Shabad has nothing to do with Patanjali's yoga, but it just has to do with Guru Ramdas Ji being secular, on the secular throne. Okay, so let me read it here. Patanjali's yoga has been called Raja Yoga, kingly or royal yoga, by Vivekananda and other great savants. Later on, every school of yoga started applying this term to their own school of yoga. So in yoga literature, this term simply means royal yoga or the chief and outstanding yoga. Yogi Bhajan applies it to his own brand of yoga. Sikhism is not a school of yoga, and as we've seen, it is highly critical of many yoga systems, and positively the antithesis of tantric yoga. But Yogi Bhajan's theorists, who are expert in distorting scriptures and translations, employ the same trick on the interpretation of Raja Yoga. Now, Premka Kaur was Yogi Bhajan's chief philosophical writer and translator of Gurbani. She did everything Yogi Bhajan told her to do. So, Dr. Shalochan Singh quotes Premka Kaur's distorted version. Raj Yog Takatadiyan Guru Ramdas. The throne of Raja Yoga was given to Guru Ramdas forever, is Premka's translation. Manmohan Singh's correct translation, Guru Amar Das, has blessed Guru Ramdas with a secular and spiritual throne. These are Dr. Shalochan Singh's comments. Premka Kaur has again taken illegal steps to attribute to Manmohan Singh her own translation with a motive that is quite clear. The complete text and translation of the verse states that first it was Nanak Chand who brought to the world light and wisdom, and then he gave his sovereign powers and wealth to Angad, who gave them to Amar Das, who gave this throne, this Gati, or Raj Yoga, Midi Pidi, to Guru Ramdas. Premka Kaur's distorted version. O Guru Arjan, thou knowest the essence of Raja Yoga. Manmohan Singh's correct version. Says Kali the Bard, thou, O Guru Arjan Dev, knowest the relish of both the secular and spiritual sovereignties. So it's this Shabad is all about secular and spiritual sovereignties. It doesn't have anything to do with Patanjali's yoga. It's just complete rubbish. Again, the author's comments, this is Dr. Shalochan Singh. God alone knows what will happen to Manmohan Singh's translation of the Adi Granth if Prem Kakar and other 3HO writers misuse and mishandle it as they have done here. These very bard poets have made it clear that this Raja Yoga is midi-pidi in Persian, and it is a well-known doctrine of political and spiritual sovereignty. Guru Nanak and his successors were all called the true king, Satchapati Shah, and for the whole of the 16th and 17th and 18th centuries, the Sikhs paid their loyalty only to this concept. Bard Harbans says, Guru Arjan, God himself bestowed the umbrella of sovereignty on Guru Arjan. So, you see the mistranslations of Yogi Bhajan. And again, he did this purposely in order to get people into his cult. Now, I want to play another section of this lecture.
When you're talking about the lineage of Raj, Raj Yog, you mentioned Krishna was the second, and then
ask Jasbeer to take it out, or ask Paisa. This is spiritual matter.
the same lineage for the Mahan Tantra.
You can see again Yogi Bhajan's complete ignorance about Gurbani, and he can't even answer this really good question by one of the students there in the early 80s about this lineage of tantric and kundalini yoga. These things slipped out sometimes about Yogi Bhajan's just ignorance. He, like I said, he may have been clever in many ways, but you can't fool all the people all the time. And all these truths are starting to come out about Yogi Bhajan now. And I invite all of you to start researching this and really investigate what this guy was really like. What's sad is how these Yogi Bhajan followers are continuing to put all of this rubbish and these lies out there. It's very, very disturbing how they're misleading people. It will catch up with them eventually. And the truth will come out. There's no doubt about it. So I invite all of you to listen to some of my other videos. I also have a book, Confessions of an American Sikh, which I'll be happy to send you a free copy of if you'd like. Just email me. And ask me questions about my experience. I invite all questions and discussion about it. I'm completely open about it. And I would hope that the Yogi Bhajan people will invite me to have discussions as well. I'd be more than happy to discuss with them these truths. Unfortunately, most of the time they just censor my comments and refuse to allow me to participate in their forums. Write this Heart of the Journey into the Sikh Dharma people. You can find them on Facebook there. And have them invite me to their discussion. I think it would be good for all Sikhs. I think it would be good for yoga students. Get a different perspective out there on this. There are other people coming out now. You can visit this other forum, Wacko World of Yogi Bhajan it's called. A lot of former followers of Yogi Bhajan who are starting to come out with some of their experiences as well, how Yogi Bhajan abused them and how he lied to them. Well, I thank you for your time. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.